Off for Indiana, the college football semifinal of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl is underway. Jeremiah McClellan got belted just shy. Out for more in Oregon right out of the gate. De'Aaron Hill Jr. is the running back. The quick pass is intercepted. It's going to be run in for an Indiana touchdown. D'Angelo Pons on the first play here in the MVP of the Rose Bowl.
And a big mistake here early by Dante Moore. Look at D'Angelo Pons, got outside leverage of an outbreaking route, and his eyes are in the backfield the whole way. The ball's thrown slightly inside. Pons grabs it and takes it to the house. The vision defense that Indiana will play throughout this game make it very difficult to take those three access.
Freshman De'Aaron Hill Jr. at running back, not Whittington, their leading rusher. Hill ducks. On 2nd down and 6, they do try to settle things in with a couple of runs. Harris has a first down.
He said, look, I abandoned the run too early in the first matchup against Indiana. At one point, they were averaging almost 7 yards per carry on a straight downhill run, but they got a little.
Bill Stein, the offensive coordinator, on his way to be the head coach at Kentucky. Play action pass, it's a screen. Jay Harris staggers but stays on his feet and has a defense who have not had an offensive touch this season. They stay with Harris.
Stepping up when his team needs him.
So a nice response to the horrible start for Oregon. And Moore's past tight end tandem in the country.
And Johnson jumped and kind of threw it off. You see the right hand go slightly above where the nose of the football is. No reason to jump there. And
Dan Lanning likes to go for it a lot on 4th down. He's not going to have to make that decision. Malik Benson, the run after.
And this is a very aggressive group. You see overload, 4 guys coming on the left side of the center. One guy drops out. It's a simulated pressure, and Bryant Haynes does that over and over again. They try to mess with your rules from a protection standpoint. You're probably going to have a lot of free hitters. The quarterback, though, can beat it with quick throws. He does it to Benson.
As Moore goes under center with a bunch to his right into the boundary. Harris did well to break a tackle. Roger Saliapaga, who's the 3rd tight end for Oregon, has come into the game. Harris, the leader. Dante Moore said he was troubled in the regular season game that Fisher kept hollering out what play was coming. Moore over the middle, caught, first down. First down.
And talk to Will Stein. They're going to kind of mess with the tempo a little bit, especially on 3rd down. Indiana's a group that will blitz your protection like we've seen already. That time they go with the quick snap. The blitzer can't get home, and it's a
10th play of the drive. And it's a fake handoff to Sadiq in a design. Play action pass, design rollout. Sadiq the catch. And it's a Mackey Award is the best tight end in the country.
And with the aggression that Indiana plays with, misdirection is your friend as an
25. Nice balance of rushes and passes. This is the 7th run. And it's Jay Harris. 2nd down and 12. Moore given plenty of time. Now zings toward the end zone and over the head of power through turf toe. They're 2 for 2 on 3rd down on the drive. A pocket again to the end zone. Touchdown! Jamari Johnson! .38 seconds and Moore 5 out of 8 on the drive for 50.
And how about the guts and maturity and poise displayed by the other hand just a little bit too soon. Here's Lou Moore, and here's the route by Jamari Johnson. Does a great job of running a little bit of a stick nod, but watch how the outbreaking action hesitates D'Angelo Pons. Pons flips his hips just enough to create
on offense for Indiana. Oregon's run 15. Fernando Mendoza handoff to Roman Hemby from Miami, hoping to return home to play against the Hurricanes in the national championship game. Hemby is the running back. He'll split time with Kalon Black. Plenty of time. Mendoza, another back shoulder throw, and a catch in trap of them is a back shoulder throw.
And the timing is so incredible, and the precision and strength of Surratt to work through the contact of the defender. flip at the last second. This is well covered. This is well defended. But guess what? On a perfectly timed back shoulder, you can't
stack from Ife Obidegu, one of the two freshman corners for Oregon after the 23-yard gain.
And this was a little bit of a problem in the first matchup. They had a bunch of false starts against Oregon, but it was mostly because Oregon with
the crowd at Oregon, and they also had trouble with the movement that induced some of those false starts. Tough run by Kalon Black.
That's a move right there.
Not as dramatic as the moves were in Eugene. On 3rd down and 4, he's on target, caught the tight end, converts with a gain of 5.
They just do all the little things right. Nowakowski's working out an out route, but it's Surratt on the outside that creates a little bit of a rub. As an offensive player, you call it a rub, and that's what he does. He gets inside and allows Betcher to kind of create some space.
Mendoza 3 for 3. The extended wait to get on the field. Didn't. 8th play of the drive. Hemby rips through the middle of the defense.
How about the job right here by Pat Coogan? MVP with the Rose Bowl was the offensive line. He gets movement against Amari Washington. And let me just tell you, it's hard to move Amari Washington. He's a load, these defensive tackles for Oregon.
The left guard. Washington's a terrific player. He's 330 pounds. Hemby turns the corner. Has a lead blocker inside the 5. Center, the Notre Dame transfer, Rose Bowl MVP, Pat Coogan.
And they just do everything right. Carter Smith gets the first guy. Coogan doesn't turn up and double team. He just continues on his...
Wanted a great culture, and he wanted a chance to win the national championship. He made a great decision. Hemby, Mahalski. He's at the left end of the offensive line. Mendoza, end zone, caught! Touchdown! Omar Cooper!
Well, if you haven't watched Indiana, you just got the exact recipe, an opportunistic defense, and
by Quinn Warren, a touchback.
And I just love this design. You see the inside leverage, which you're going to beat with an outbreaking route every time. Usually, it's Surratt on the outside on the back shoulder this part of the field. Instead, this time, they go with a slot formation. They get Cooper lined up against the safety and Aaron Flowers, and you don't have a lot of room as a quarterback.
Catch of the night for Cooper goes for a touchdown. That was the case in the win against Texas Tech. So more in the Jay Harris is going to be on his way to a career night here tonight. Gets the call again. They had a very tough time on 3rd down against Texas Tech. And that continues.
Brian Haynes' defense is so good. You'll see Kamara slide inside, pressure off the outside, and he just beats the right tackle, Harkey, across his face. And there's nothing that Jay Harris can do. And
he's backed up that award with his start to the night. 4 for 4. They're up 14-7.
Shoots it beautifully.
Out of the pistol. The handoff to Black across the 20 in the country behind Penn. We looked it up and he wasn't lying. Here's that running ability we talked about earlier. First down and much more. Isn't pretty when he runs, but it's effective.
Well, it's really, really well done because it's a pressure up the middle. It's really well defended and blocked by Black, who picks it up. And the only guy that sees Mendoza take off is Washington. And at 330 pounds, he's really fast, but he's not as fast as Menfield.
Fernando rushed for 31 yards in the regular season meeting. Kalon Black
not too long ago, but it's to protect the offensive linemen who are out there trying to hit. And Obidegu goes a little bit low.
First offensive lineman to be the MVP of the Rose Bowl since 1944. Norm Berry, our statistician, like out of it. And I think it's a very apt description from the guy who is certainly not. He might have to decide for pro career with football or baseball, as he's going to be drafted in the NFL. Mendoza, the ball is loose. It got ripped up by Nasir Wyatt. Back in the hands of Mendoza, and Wyatt gets there again. Second lost fumble of the season for Indiana.
And Nasir Wyatt is all speed. He doesn't play a ton, but he plays in obvious passing situations, and he always flaps.
Santa Ana, California, but 2 of them were sacks. There's Mitch McCarthy, a 27-year-old Australian punter. Gary Bryant Jr. Smother picks. If Moore goes into the NFL draft, he Hasn't made up that decision yet. The ball slips out of his hand as he wound up to throw. Fire.
That's exactly what happened. And without Whittington, without Davidson, they have not had a ton of reps with Hill. They have an RPO called. Hill gets too close. And as Moore is pulling it back, it hits the nose of the football against the left shoulder pad, and a massive mistake.
You can say that at the end of a lot of stats. Kalon Black, the running back. He has blockers up and over, and he's second and goal from the 2. Kalon Black tumbles toward the Mendoza with Black, the running back. Black straight ahead, touchdown. Kalon Black. Was their leading rusher. Expected to see the bulk of the carries. Is hobbled quite obviously by turf toe, so it's been Jay Harris. If you can't go in this game, you can't go. Dante Moore on 2nd and 10. Pressured, dumps it off. Harris to the 40.
But catching the ball now, 3 receptions for the running back.
Matching his total for the season entering tonight. Weaves through that Indiana. Harris, the running back, on 2nd and 3. Play action fake. Moore running out of time and gets sacked.
And they're trying to take a shot here to Benson, but it's a great job by the center field safety, the aforementioned Moore, who plays it beautifully. Stays over the top, sees it, and he knows that it's going to take way too long for him to be able to get it home. Dante Moore's got to lose that football.
Under 6 minutes to go in the half. 3rd and 12. Moore under pressure again and down.
That's what Indiana does such a great job of. They complement each other so beautifully. Look how well this is timed. You got Kamara switching inside. He gets the pick against
Indiana. Here's James Ferguson Reynolds. Line drive punt. Jonathan Brady. Out. First 4 possessions. Leading to 14 Indiana points. Fernando Mendoza, high throw, good catch in the flat by Roman Hendricks.
Really across the board, they're phenomenal.
Mendoza, another back shoulder throw to know the back shoulder throw is coming, don't you, if you're guarding this guy?
They played it well. Obviously grabs the jersey with the left hand, results in the flag. You cannot cover that. I don't care what the you cannot play the back shoulder much better, and it still doesn't matter. Surratt man.
Play fake. Mendoza has running room and he wants it. Instead, sends it ahead to Omar Cooper in his 1 year there. So Signetti brought him to James Madison in the portal where he excelled. Now he's a Hoosier. Deep throw. Charlie Becker. Touchdown, Indiana.
They can throw the back shoulder. They can throw it over your head. It's press coverage. Fernando Mendoza knows exactly where he's going. He just has to take care of the safety. His eyes start there to the left. Then his helmet swivels over, which buys just enough time for Thieneman. Can't get over the top. And Becker, the emergence since the Penn State game has been phenomenal. 6'4" with tremendous speed. He's added a deep throw element to what already was a remarkably balanced wide receiver core.
He's very speedy, great size at 6'4", terrific hands, had the talent. De'Air Hill on 1st down. They're going to have to throw it with regularity. He gets hit, lost the ball again. Daniel Ndukwe knocked it out, and it is in.
And how about the hit by Ndukwe, who's had to step up in the absence of Stephen Daly. He arrives immediately and makes the play. And Landino's right there. But that's what happens when you're Landino. When you do what you're supposed to do, and you're a great teammate, that's exactly what you're rewarded with. He goes out, he sets the pick against Harkey, the right tackle, which frees up Ndukwe to make the sack.
What a performance by the #1 team in the country. Mendoza breaks a tackle. And finally gets wrestled down at the 20.
They're giving you some 2019 LSU vibes.
Yeah, that's what it feels like right now. Here's Kalon Black. They're up 28-7 at the 2-minute. Attention to detail is remarkable. Mendoza handled the high snap. gigantic pro-Indiana crowd, and they're loving every minute of it. Hemby straight ahead with little resistance. He powers down. He's lined up in front of Roman Hemby. Hemby stood up short of the line of Shanahan. Hemby's the running back. Mendoza quick pass, touchdown, Elijah Surratt. Made the catch and went to the ground.
And this ball got out so quickly, and Surratt did such a great job. Is he down right there? Where's the ball?
It's a touchdown.
It's a touchdown.
Not sure there's enough from that look to overturn it. But he knows he's about to get.
Dante Moore throws on the run, just throwing it up for grabs, and why not at this point? You need. So my wife was upset with me, Manette. I was making $300,000 at Alabama, throwing a catch made by. He got that program back near where his dad had it. Went to Elon, totally turned that around. JMU, and now here in Indiana, there's going to be a holding call. About 60. Shanahan, by the way, also a 3-year extension starting at $1.7 million. Good work if you can get it. More Kentucky, very little, and Lupo's been in Berkeley, very little. Their primary focus by far has been on this playoff, finishing it right with the Ducks.
They said it's been ruthless from a sleep standpoint, but they felt like they had their team prepared.
They both looked exhausted yesterday, understandably so. They stopped the clock to move the chains, 19-yard gain, trying to give them something to take into the locker room. And it's short. To play to the standard. Roman Hemby, the ball carrier, team to play with some emotional stability. Mendoza on target, not a surprise. Elijah.
Ball just comes out of his hand so beautifully. Got a nice compact release. The spin is so tight, and it's always exactly where it needs to be to the outside.
Now out of the pistol, Hemby stood up and driven back by Bryce.
Becoming a tone setter as they transition to Big Ten. It's amazing.
Mendoza far sideline, another perfect throw and a catch by. The receivers run great routes. They catch the ball, they don't drop it. Kalon Black bouncing off would-be tacklers. He remains the running back, and Indiana goes a little tempo. Mendoza flushed from the pocket and turns it into a gain across the 30. It's Ashton Porter who flinched. Hemby, he got lit up again by talked to him yesterday. Said he hadn't made up his mind, but you got the sense his first love is football. Mendoza pulls it down and scrambles. Spinning around, the ball comes out. And wouldn't you know, Indiana recovers it.
Well, we mentioned the mobility and just how sneaky it is this time. I thought he might split the safeties. I mean, he makes Washington miss. He's right through it, tries to spin out of it. It's a good job popping it out. But like always, Indiana does the little things. The offensive line at 310-plus pounds to recover the fumble.
The number is actually 955. And now 5 wide receivers on 3rd down and 5 for Mendoza. To the end zone, wide open receiver and a touchdown. E.J. Williams. We talk about Indiana. E.J. Williams, a transfer from Clemson.
And how about the route? How about the throw? How about the separation? And Kurt Signetti said.
Inside Isaiah World, the left tackle, limped off late in the first half. Fox Crater, redshirt freshman, is in at left tackle. Here's Tierre Hill. One man to beat. He got slowed down enough that the Hoosiers run him down inside the 5-yard of his true freshman season. And they're inside the 5. The play fake by Moore. And a fly.
He's at the 2-yard line. First down, Oregon.
Tons of contact there by Pons. And results in the foul, but it's a good matchup to try to take advantage of with Benson, who can jump out.
Game against the Hurricanes. Jay Harris, the running back, in the pistol. And down to the goal line. Touchdown! Right, the three widest in a bunch. Moore throws it to the other side. Single coverage. Jamari Johnson, the catch for two. Them to the title game. Kalon Black is the running back. He has a hole on the right side. Kalon Black. Can they tackle him with the third try from behind? They do. At every game at right guard these 2 years under Kurt Signetti.
Yeah, and they got it on the right guard, but they might have actually had it on the tackle. That's Coogan, number 78. It did look.
Hoosier Nation can breathe a sigh of relief that he's all right. Now it's Hemby. Biggest rival, and some of the other teams in the league are not very good. We cleaned up the language, but they've backed it up. Mendoza over the middle. Riley Noah Couch.
Truly remarkable.
Many of his peers lauding it as one of the great coaching jobs of all time. Mendoza on the run. Doesn't matter. Still on target.
Outrageous.
Roman Hemby, the ball carrier. Here's Kalon Black again next season. But Mendoza would have to fight for Hoover, likely to be the backup again. Fernando, incomplete back. The Ducks scored on their last drive. Jay
a chance.
Out of the pistol with Deere Hill with a 71-yard run on the touchdown drive of the last possession. Alex Harkey, the right tackle. Yanking. Dante Moore is 9 out of 14 for 112. A touchdown and an interception for a pick six. He's throwing a deep bomb, and it is. If you're a Hoosier fan.
And he had to fight through a lot of contact, too. I mean, that could have very easily been called pass interference. Instead, McClellan, who's been really good, had
30 touchdown passes in a season. The other three all Buckeyes. Wayne Haskins, C.J. Stroud, Justin Fields. DeCorian Moore. Another Bisea world, the starting left tackle, and Dave Iuli, the right guard, are both in street clothes of the sideline. Moore incomplete. Harris wins 5 out of 7 on third down. Both teams have been outstanding on third down tonight, in contrast to the regular season meeting. Final 44 seconds of the third quarter. The pitch to Harris. He's in trouble and dropped behind the line of scrimmage.
And this is great recognition. Oregon runs this fullback dive all the time. This is the change up off of it. They fake it. They go with the Vegas pitch. You're not going to fool Indiana. And again,
they're going to. The other 135 are going to remember it.
Well, it's tonight. You know, I can change my mind tomorrow, perhaps.
That was so. Miami awaiting the winner of this one, and it's Indiana with a 27-point lead going to the fourth quarter. Fernando Mendoza, the
fourth quarter to secure the victory.
15-play drive to win. A typical of Ole Miss. They were still throwing the ball in the end zone on the last play of the game. Mendoza's pass deep here tonight. That's more than 4,000 over capacity.
And it looked like Cooper, who's to the right side of the screen, does get dragged down with the left hand of Kennedy. It looked like he out.
Here's Mitch McCarthy. And it's a return from Malik Benson. He brought one back 85 for a touchdown against game for Frank Sr. 199 games in his college football career. Kenyon's son, Kirk. Charismatic, kind of guy who Kirk takes over room, but kind of in a different way. Kirk compared his dad, John. He was the successor to Bobby Bowden at West Virginia in the 1970s when Bobby left to go to Florida State over the middle. 5 teams, Ohio State and Notre Dame, both last year. Northwestern, by the way, is now the losing team, and they block a punt for good measure. Daniel Ndukwe, what a night he's had.
Just amazing. completely relentless. And when you put those fours up in the air in the fourth quarter, it's a reminder that you still have 15 minutes to go, and you do not let up on the crack the smile then.
Well, it's all 3 phases, special teams. Moving to
job, but to see this level of execution is incredible.
Mendoza. Black, the running back. Mendoza fires, back line of the end zone, touchdown. Elijah Surratt. He lived there for a while as a child.
The AT&T Connected Cam shows just an absolute seed right in the back of the end zone. They cover number 1, they cover number 2. You still have to deal with number 3, and that's Surratt in the back of the end zone. Another look here from the AT&T Connected Cam. Just perfect placement, understanding where he's at. Gets 2 in, no problem. And another
great sports broadcasters around the country, and so many greats who have won it. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. You have to appreciate the greatness of this Indiana team.
Yeah, it's truly remarkable and well said, because I'm
just recently in that win against Illinois, they really got their season off and running. That was a top 10 matchup. They won 63-10. Dante Moore got it off to Corian Moore here in 2019 against Oklahoma, when they could have named the score. They scored 63 points in the game. Fisher got a hit. But what Mendoza's doing now invites the comparisons for sure. Moore, the play fake. He's on target to Kenyon Sadiq across midfield and scampers out of bounds. Wide receiver in 2020. 9.5 to go. Dante Moore. Pressured by transfer portal. Everybody's a free agent with NIL. If you have the money to spend, you have the advantage. Both these schools have very generous donors. Mark Cuban, the Indiana Hoosiers. As a matter of fact, ESPN News is projecting Indiana will be the winner of this game. Dante Moore, back shoulder throw. Miami, they said no. Thought he was going to Yale, wound up at Cal. Moore rolls away from the rush, fires, incomplete.
Her hometown, I can't even imagine the emotions.
Well, it'll be a magical ending to a remarkable season. Kobe Martin. Okay, you think you're going to go to a bowl game next year? And Signetti gave him the Signetti face and said, bowl game, and we're going to do much better than that. And as usual, he was right. Kobe Martin.
Identifying guys with key traits and competitiveness and buy-in. Remarkable.
Well, it's interesting. I never heard this in a meeting.
Most schools would say, I don't know, he's a little too short. Doesn't matter. He can play. Production over potential.
Here's Kobe Martin.
He marches to the beat of his own drum.
Kalon Black, big haul. Kalon Black, touchdown! Oh, and finally a smile.
Junior, Sean.
The old apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Well, I don't know what else to tell you. He's just a phenomenal human being.
He won over his teammates and coaches almost immediately. Moore under pressure throws it away. Molly.
Well, Sean, just full circle moments that she has prayed for.
And the prayers are answered. Here's McClellan again, run after the catch. He's take Jay Harris, the running back. In trouble on 3rd down and 1. Did well to get
here in the Rose Bowl, to get blown out against an in-conference foe. It's really, really disappointing.
Dante Moore. We talk about
play more ball, and this Oregon team in general, very, very young and should be really good next season.
Swing pass for Dyer Hill. That lead blocker, number 25, is cute running back, and he was out there as a lead blocker.
And this is pretty nicely done. You can see from the AT&T Connected Cam, but what I love most about this is the finish. Right there, big finish on the run. And that really doesn't make much of a difference. It's a couple yards. The game is in hand. But it does tell you a little bit about the character of Dyer Hill right there, who finishes the run when the game's sideways.
2.5 to go. And 2nd down and 10. Moore's 21 of 35 for 247. A flip to Jeremiah McClellan. Fantastic at what they do, and all of them wonderful people to be around. The K Crew, as we're known at ESPN. Here's Jamari Johnson. Great run after the catch. He got yanked down. Just a catch for Jamari Johnson.
He got all of it too from Johnson, who does the stiff arm and somehow is able to get Boyd to the ground. Boyd did a great job of holding on for dear.
Jay Harris. Miami. The Big Ten has established itself as the premier conference in college football right now for sure. Flat. Harris on the right hip. A botch snap for Dante Moore, and that's 7 to 363. Harris, long exchange, and then Moore throws a touchdown. Roger Saliapaga, the sophomore tight end, with his first touchdown of the season, and you know they wanted to get it to him. You can see by the way the teammates celebrate.
Imagine.